Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss the legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedoms and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, the President and General Counsel of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country in the courtrooms of America. Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedoms.
What constitutes a so-called hate group with regards to homosexuality? You might be surprised. We'll talk about it today on Faith and Freedom. I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel and dean of Liberty University School of Law. Joining me is Matt Barber, director of cultural affairs for Liberty Counsel and associate dean of the law school. Matt, the Southern Poverty Law Center has recently come out with a list of organizations that they say are hateful, or those that they classify even at a higher level as hate groups. Now, someone would think that, well, the Ku Klux Klan would certainly be a hate group. They obviously are hateful against people of color and even religion, but those organizations are very vitriolic and they're even violent in their activity. But you wouldn't think that groups like American Family Association or Family Research Council should be classified as a hate group, and yet that's in fact what Southern Poverty Law Center has recently done.
Yeah, it's, the Southern Poverty Law Center has always been far left-leaning. It was founded by Morris Dees back in the late 60s, early 70s, a marketing expert who took on the issue of civil rights and fighting against, as you point out, bona fide hate groups, neo-Nazi groups and the KKK, skinheads, and putting together intelligence reports, as they call, for law enforcement around the country that highlight the activities of these potentially subversive and potentially violent organizations. That is the history of the SPLC. Over the years, they have moved further and further to the fringes of the far left and are now using their waning political capital and credibility in an effort to simply undermine and really using Saul Alinsky-type tactics to go after legitimate, very well-respected conservative and Christian organizations, as you point out, like the Family Research Council, like the American Family Association. And it really, to me, it shows desperation on the part of the extreme left that they've lost the argument. They can no longer argue these issues on the facts, on the science, on theological issues. So now they've resorted to this junior high school-like name-calling in order to try to marginalize conservative and Christian organizations. We saw it during the Tea Party movement in the leading up to the elections. We're going to see more of it, but we're here to point it out to the American public, and they've been exposed.
And you've recently written an article in the Washington Times on this issue, and I really think that it points out that this organization has marginalized itself because it has lost all credibility. I mean, Family Research Council is not a hate group. They may disagree with Family Research Council on the issue of same-sex marriage or homosexuality, but it's not a hate group. And American Family Association is the same way. Now, they also list Liberty Counsel in there as well. They don't classify Liberty Counsel as a hate group. They've actually included, 18 different organizations, of which they put a star by some of those. 13 that are considered hate groups. And Liberty Counsel's in there not as a hate organization, but is added in there, and who knows, before long it's going to get an asterisk.
I'll make a prediction right now, Matt. I've written several articles. I have underscored and pointed out and exposed the fraudulent activities of the Southern Poverty Law Center on a number of occasions. They personally attack me in this report that they put out, but they do not classify us as a hate group yet. I think they're a little leery of doing that because I have been one person at the forefront in exposing their activities here, but I'm going to make a prediction. They are going to eventually do that in retaliation for us pointing out what they're doing, their fraudulent activities. They will do that, and at that point, the mainstream media is going to be held accountable that they will try to marginalize Liberty Counsel eventually as a hate group, and we're going to hold their feet to the fire when they do that.
Yeah, and what they essentially argue is that these hate groups, so-called hate groups like Family Research Council or American Family Association, well, they believe in marriage as the union of one man and one woman. well, most Americans believe in the union of one man and one woman. They believe that homosexuality is wrong. They put out this wrongful information that they say. Now, they may dispute the information, but the fact is there's grounds for that information that these organizations and that Liberty Counsel puts out. And that is, all you have to do is pull up the data on Center for Disease Control with regards to the increased medical and emotional risk of homosexuality. And it's not just in the United States, it's all over the world as well, even in more what we'd call gay or homosexual friendly countries like the Netherlands. You still have the same increase of health and mental illnesses and conditions there. If you look at the issue of families and the deleterious effect that it would have on raising children, there's a lot of information on that. Now, they may not like that information, but the fact is, it's not like somebody is putting out, these organizations are putting out intentionally wrong information in order to come after a particular class or a group of people. This is a cultural battle. The lines are drawn, and they want to draw a line to put those that disagree with them in a hate category. What their ultimate goal is to put you in the same exact category and the same exact thinking in people's minds as the Ku Klux Klan is. That's their ultimate goal. And once they pigeonhole you there, and once you get put there for a period of time and people accept it, then there's consequences politically and socially with regards to what those organizations can do.
Yeah, they accuse groups like FRC and AFA of, quote, propagation of known falsehoods. They even put out what they call the Southern Poverty Law Center's 10 anti-gay myths, and they say that these myths are debunked. Now, what these myths constitute are, on some levels, issues that are still very much open for debate. There is evidence, historical evidence and otherwise, that takes one side of the issue, and there are those on the other side. They are trying to put forward their own evidence. It's very much for debate. There is some of the so-called myths that they point out here are simply not even open for debate. These are beyond any reasonable or serious debate. These are politically incorrect scientific facts. You point out one of them, the notion that homosexual behavior is physically harmful. Listen, if the FRC is a hate group, then so is the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, right. the FDA would have to be classified as hate groups because they're the ones pointing out that 1 out of 5 men who have sex with men have AIDS. They're the ones pointing out that 64% of all syphilis cases are men who have sex with men. A tiny percentage. That's epidemic. A study by the Canadian Journal of Epidemiology found that men who have sex with men, and these are liberal homosexual supporting researchers, found that homosexual behavior will knock up to 20 years off your life. They call this a myth, the SPLC does, because it's inconvenient. The fact is, it's proven, period, that homosexual behavior will shorten your lifespan and can cause you to die.
And here's the consequence of where they want to go. Look at Great Britain. There was a case of a Christian couple there. They were told that they may not be able to adopt. This was reported in World Net Daily. They may not be able to be foster parents under the new laws dictating sensitivity to homosexual children. They're now awaiting judgment from Britain's High Court. Now, this is pending there now, so we're going to wait to see what happens. But the fact of the matter is they have been disqualified, disabled, because of their Christian views regarding homosexuality. You think that that's over in the pond, across the pond? Well, look at California. In California, you have situations now where you have to sign affidavits if you're going to be an adoptive parent or a foster parent that you would not have any of these adverse views towards homosexuality. So what this ultimate battle is about is literally over core foundational values and worldview, and they want to use force of law to simply eliminate any argument, to eliminate any people of faith and values that have an opposing viewpoint.
It's very clever what they're doing. They're trying to take the legitimate probing evidence off the table. These studies, these CDC studies, the FDA studies, this National Journal of Epidemiology study, and so forth. They want that off the table, and anybody who uses that information, you need to be afraid because you're going to be labeled a hater.
Well, in this situation in Britain, they passed the sexual orientation regulations and the Equality Act. It led a social worker to question whether this religious Christian couple were fit to care for a potentially homosexual child. According to the London Daily Mail, the council said, "Do you know you would have to tell them that it's okay to be homosexual?" I mean, that's where this is going, and that's why we need to stand up and make a line in the sand now. Go to Liberty Counsel's website and support this ministry with your prayers and your financial support as we advance the family and defend freedom. You can also order the book, Same-Sex Marriage, Putting Every Household at Risk. You can do that right there at lc.org.
You have been listening to Matt Staver of Liberty Counsel. Our hope is to encourage and inspire you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedoms. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email update. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.